Hello everyone, welcome back. Oh, I'm so happy that we are together again. I had a dream this morning that I'm so excited to share with you because it feels like it's good to share it now, even though I don't quite understand it all, because there's someone out there who does. And I really do feel like there's one of you out there who understands what God was trying to show me, and also it's timely. Like, it's just not something I need to sit on and pray over. I mean, of course, I've been praying all day, but like I had it first thing this morning, and it's middle of the afternoon for me. Anyway, so I don't want to take a lot of your time because I only have bits and pieces of this one because my daughter kept waking me up Saturday morning, So I only have half of the dream, and I'm so sorry I can only give you half of it. But I'll do my best to share what I saw. So let's get to it. Okay, I see myself at the beach with lots of people. And because this is the middle of the dream, I'm not sure how I got to this beach or who the people are necessarily. It doesn't seem familiar to me because we are dressed very similar to this. We have a ton of clothes on, cold weather clothes, and everybody. And it's rocky. It's this shows chunky rocks, but I wanted to get the color of the rock. This light tan color, cream color stone I saw everywhere. Different shapes. Some people were sitting on them, like this couple is. Some are smaller, like maybe the size of a step stool, and some are just like pebbles. But it felt important because they were all it was like all identical stone colors, and people were scattered all about, and we didn't look. It was like a sunny day. I could see the water behind us. Lots of people just hanging out on this stone beach, but like I said, wearing clothes similar to her, but maybe a jacket, with the water, the shore off to the distance. And I'm looking around, and none of the faces really stood out as people I knew, but they all seemed to be happy. It was daytime, and I could see their faces. No one looked really unhappy, but no one really stood out to me who I knew at the time. And I just looked down and see how these stones are. I looked down, and that's what I was seeing were stones about this size, and a blanket, and I think a backpack, and I think those were my items. And on top of the backpack, on the towel, was a wet wetsuit. And I saw this wet wetsuit, and it didn't bother me that it was wet. I don't know if I had worn it and took it off, or someone let me borrow it, but I wanted to wear it again. And so I looked up to look for my quote-unquote friends. There were people there. Facially, they didn't look familiar, but I knew these women. There were two ladies. I knew these ladies were my friends, and they were smiling at me. And I looked over to them, and I said, "Would you like to go swimming in the tide pool?" And they said, "Yes, let's go." So we all put on our wetsuits and walked over to the tide pool. And even though their faces didn't look familiar, but we were all friends, and we got over to the water. Now this is similar to what I saw. Rocky, light-colored rocks in this squarish, rectangular shape. And, people were in and about similar to this. Tide pool is when the tide washes into a cavernous rocky area and collects water. So they could be as small as the size of a quarter, or it can be huge like this Olympic-sized swimming pool size. Sorry, sidebar. So we got in, and it was way deeper once we got inside. And I had a goggle mask in my hand. I think I did see it on the beach, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do remember I put on the goggle mask, and I put on the snorkel, and dove into the water face forward. I remember, the difference between the air and this liquid. And I have to say, the water itself was completely different. It wasn't like the liquid water we know. It was almost like when, I don't know if you all have done it, but if you've made Jell-O at home, I believe you have to add hot water to a gelatin packet and stir. Well, this is when you just add the gelatin packet and the water together and you stir it, and it still has a liquidy consistency. It hasn't started to form into the gelatinous mass we know. So the idea was, once I got in, it was thick and I was buoyant. I was almost floating. It wasn't so much swimming, moving my arms to propel myself around the pool. I was just sort of floating around. And I remember the lower I went, pulling myself down, I blew out air bubbles out of my snorkel, and the air bubbles were suspended like Jell-O. It was suspended, and I could see them, and they just hung out. They didn't really float. They might have floated slowly up, but I just remember going, that's my air bubble in my dream. So, okay, sorry. So I'm in the pool, and I pop up and kind of check on my friends, and we're kind of giggling to each other. And I took my mask off for a sec, and then I put my mask back on, and I went deeper down. Well, once I went deeper down, and the water's this color, by the way, the picture that you're seeing. So I'm diving deeper down, and I see these same colored light stones, but they have this very man-made points to them, and they're kind of, I want to say, jagged, which meant that they were like lined at the bottom of the pool. Like if I would have stepped on it, would have poked me. And this is almost exactly what I saw. Almost exactly the building shape. See how it comes to the point at the top, and it's that blonde, it's a cream color, light colored, colored brick. That's what I was seeing. But this was jammed into the bottom of the beach pool, tide pool, and it was off to the side. And as I got closer to it, I could see windows. But it was like regular building, the 4-pane window. But I was like, oh, that's a building. That's a broken, demolished. And then later, when I was praying over this, I heard ruin. So the Lord gave me ruin later. But in my dream, I was saying broken, demolished buildings. And as I looked around, the whole bottom of the pool were broken, demolished buildings. Different shapes, but all had this man-made point that nature doesn't normally create this point. And I said in my dream, I am no longer on earth. I knew I was above earth. And that's actually the end of my dream. So I'm not sure exactly what it means. I don't know. And I dare not guess, because I'll probably get it wrong. But I would love, if you have any ideas or suggestions, please leave them below. And, I hope that this is something that maybe touches someone, that you do understand what I was shown. And like I said, I apologize. I don't know how the beginning of the dream got lost, so I don't know how we got to the beach. Oh, the other thing I forgot. I love this picture too, because this is the kind of idea of the beach, except for the foliage, all the trees and bushes, kind of eliminate that part. But see how the mountainous rock, natural, God made that rock, and it's pushing out of the ground, and you can see that it's different levels of rock. Next to it is a man-made wall, probably from the same rock around it, but that's how it was. It was like you almost couldn't tell, unless you really were looking, that you were in a ruin. So the beach, all those rocks that we were sitting on and people were sitting on, were actually probably more of this ruined, I don't know, maybe they weren't, but that's how it seemed like. There was rocks everywhere, which I thought were natural, but now I'm thinking back, it might have been more of this, these building structures that were in ruin. So anyway, I love you all. Please take care, and please know that God bless you with this gift of life, and He loves you, and He's with you every day. We all are. We're all with you in spirit. You're not alone. We love you as God and Jesus and the Holy Ghost love you. Please take care, and may God bless you all.